Let's get Annette. It's coming in. Looks like, and it's sideways. Chanel, the video. Hey, Annette. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. You're at the mug right now. Are you at the mug?
Yes.
Oh, come on in.
Okay.
You know where we're at? Let me come out and get you.
Okay. Okay. There's a room. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Nice to meet you. I'm Joey.
Annette.
Monica. Annette, nice to meet you.
Yay.
Come on in.
Okay.
Get you an agenda. Do you have a pen or no? You went to 80 grand?
Yes.
Did you go to 80 grand?
Yeah, I saw you, and I was like, this is.
So then that's what's going on. So we have our normal website, which everything's updated, but that's the Toastmasters International site that we haven't updated. So sorry about that. That is a drive. We were meeting out there for a good year, making the transition to the hybrid meetings. All right. All right, now we're ready to go. So take your time getting set. We'll just kind of go over some club business stuff while you're getting everything onto you. So that's just the agenda that we're going to be rolling through today. No speeches that we have today, but we have some cool opportunities, we call them table topics, that you'll get to do if you want to do it. Okay. We'll do as much or as little as you want. You can be a fly on the wall or you can dive right in. It's all up to you. Okay. So it was Annette and then Monica. Well, welcome. All right, we'd like to open up with our mission statement. You can see in that front page in the bottom left corner. And that is, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And for Annette and Monica, so just introduce myself, Joey. So I'm the acting club president, and I'm also the treasurer of our club. This is Chanel. She is our immediate past president. She's our sergeant at arms and VP of education. And then Denny's on right now. You can see her up on the screen. She is our secretary. So that's Ms. Denny Mason. She's joining us on Zoom, which is kind of cool. We get to do the hybrid thing. So with that, we'll do into some club business. We have some club officer training. Denny, Chanel, I don't know if you ladies were going to sign up for that this Wednesday. It works better for me because my weekends are pretty tough.
I signed up.
Wednesday. Okay. Denny?
And I'm registered.
Two. Okay, cool. And then Sarah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll text her. But they have another one. If we miss this one, there's I think one or two more that are on that flyer, I guess. So we'll do that. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is we're planning an open house. An open house on the 31st. It's a Tuesday. Same place, same time, the whole thing. And generally, what we do at an open house is we'll have Mike at the mug. We'll do some finger food type stuff. So free food, some drinks. I don't know if he's going to do water or tea or what he's going to do. So we'll generally do that. We'll do a little bit of an agenda. So we'll do maybe a speech or two, just a little bit about Toastmasters. It's just a way for people to get an idea of what we do. May do some table topics. We're going to have a silent auction. So we'll have some like service oriented, product oriented things out that people can do on if they want to. I think Mike at the mug was looking at doing like a basket of stuff from here. I think the gal next door, the company next door, the salon, was looking at putting a basket of face, head, makeup type stuff together. I know my cousin's a dentist, a local dentist. He's going to do some like teeth whitening stuff. I'm going to pick that up after. I think we're going to donate some things. I do baseball hitting lessons, softball hitting lessons. Let's go donate one of that. So we have some silent auction items as well. So that's just the 31st. We'll start plugging that on the social medias this next week or this week and next week and work on that. But same time, same place, same kind of scenario. Any questions on that, Denny? 12 o'clock, 12 to 1. And then Chanel was the flyer, I guess, last piece of business. So Chanel did the flyer.
I did. I did not get a chance to print it out.
That's okay.
So I have it on my phone now, if Mike can look at it.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And then everything looked okay on that, Denny?
Mm-hmm.
Everything looked okay on that?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go along with that. And other than that, any questions before we get the show on the road? All right. So with that, I would love to pass the baton over to our Toastmaster of the day, Miss Denny Mason.
Thank you, Joey. I love today's topic about mentoring. I am the product of mentoring, and you'll even see on my website, I have a little photography studio, Blossom Trail Photo, and I have a quote on there, which is my quote, which is that you can do anything you want in life as long as you're willing to start as a volunteer. And that has to do with mentoring, because if there's something you really want to do in life, I believe it's a good idea to go out there and find somebody else who knows what they're doing to teach you. And that's exactly what I did with photography. I went out and found the best photographer I could find and pawned myself off on him until he accepted me as a mentee. And I made a career out of it with a lot of help. It was a wonderful experience, but I learned from somebody who actually knew what they were doing. And I'm not a great student out of a book. There are some things you just can't learn out of a book, or you can start with a book, but there's nothing like having another person teach you all the ins and outs of something and earning their they earn your respect. It just really places a seal on the deal to learn from somebody else. With that, we're going to pursue that topic today, and I'm going to go on to our general evaluator, Chanel.
Thank you. I think we might need to do some switching around.
Yeah.
Evaluation roles. Joey, do you want to do grammarian or
I can take
Auctioner?
grammarian.
Take grammarian. I can do Auctioner.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm the role of the general evaluator today, which is the person who helps make sure that the meeting is running smoothly and keeps everything on track. I introduce the evaluation team, and then at the end of the meeting, the evaluation team comes back up and gives a report based on the things that they are evaluating. The first member of the evaluation team is our grammarian, and they give us a word of the day or a grammatical task that we work on. So Joey's going to fill in for that role today since the person who's on the agenda couldn't make it. So I'll call him back up and he will explain that.
Thank you, Chanel. And let's see how we can do this for Denny here. So the word of the day, yeah, let me put this in the chat so you can look at that too. We have it written right up here on the left side of the right. And the word of the day is hood wink. The definition of that is to deceive or trick someone. And if somebody wants me to use throughout the meeting, use it in a sentence, I'm going to use it now. But if you want a little bit more clarification, then I can. But my job as the grammarian is to select the word of the day, which is super simple. Go on Google, type in word of the day, and you can either put it in this form. If you're going to be here in person, this helps. We'll generally write it on the board here for everybody that's here, and then we'll put it in the chat. Get that to Denny here. There we go. And we'll put it in the chat for those that are online. So I'm just tracking usage of the word. And if we don't use it now, if you're a member or you're a guest or a member up to 6 months, you don't have to worry about I think it's the investment jar now. It used to be the punishment jar or penalty jar, but it's, those are kind of harsh words. So we call it the investment jar. So you get, it's like a 50 cents, 30 cents, something like that. It's nothing crazy. It's not like $20 or whatnot, but something small. But hoodwink, which is again to deceive or trick someone, and in a sentence, the salesperson hoodwinked us into buying items that weren't on our shopping list. And then another one would be a financial advisor's credentials can be helpful, but beware, sometimes less scrupulous financial advisors will use irrelevant or fraudulent qualifications to hoodwink clients. And that's a quote from Ashley Kilroy of Yahoo Finance. So my job today will be to log how many times we use the word of the day, hoodwink. And again, it's just to kind of increase your vocabulary there. So
Thank you, Joey.
thank you.
Another purpose of the word of the day is to practice multitasking, because we get up here and we'll do after this section of our meeting, we'll do our extemporaneous speaking where you're asked a question, you come up and answer on the fly. And so happy to think about answering a question in real time, and then also, oh, I need to use this word. It helps with multitasking functions. The second member of the evaluation team is the awe counter, and I'll be filling in that role today as well. The job of the awe counter is to listen for crutch words or words that perhaps are not proper grammar or ideally shouldn't be in language. The most common crutch words are like drawn out conjunctions, things that have a place in everyday language, but ideally to challenge ourselves should not be in professional sounding speeches. I will be listening for those words today. And of course, for people who it's guests the first time, we're not going to go too harsh. We're not going to, you're not going to leave here with, and I just said, you're not going to leave here with a list of, oh, these are all of the things that I said wrong. But it's something that helps raise awareness of what's coming out of our mouths and helps us to be more aware of it. So I will be listening for that and then give a report at the end of the meeting of how everybody did. And then Joey, do you want me to do the timer if you're going to do table topics? That might make more sense.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have a timer on your phone? Because I got a different watch today. And I don't even have my phone. First time ever.
Oh, that's funny. I can use your watch.
You use my watch?
So the timer keeps track of the time of speeches and table topics. Today we don't have any speeches, so I'll specifically be tracking table topics. Table topics are 1 to 2 minutes goal, meaning you speak for a minimum of 1 minute or a maximum of 2 minutes. So when you speak for table topics, at 1 minute, you'll get a green light, which shows that you've reached the minimum time. At 1.5 minutes, you'll get a yellow light, which shows you're at the median average time. And then at 2 minutes, you'll get the red light, which means, okay, you're at your max time. You need to wrap it up if you haven't already. And that's just a marker to help us learn to speak within a specified time frame and not go over. So I'll also be timing all of us when we give our table topics today. And then Joey's the Zoom master. Do you want to talk about that?
Yep. Thank you, Chanel. Yep. And usually we clap in between going here, but we got many hats kind of being worn here with the Toastmasters. That tends to happen. And that's the other thing is, don't feel like, say if you join, that we're going to throw you into like 2-3 different roles all at once. When you're just beginning, you can just stay in just one role and master that and go. We've been here for a while. This isn't our first rodeo, so seeing us do that, don't let it scare you off. Yeah, a little different watch there. It's more, you're gonna have to look at the second hand. She complained my last watch. She said it was her dad. He goes, my dad wears that kind of watch, so I had to update. No, it wasn't because of Chanel, but yeah, right. It's English right now. So the Zoom master, typically in person, all I'm doing responsible for is recording this. If I was online, like Denny, if she was a Zoom master, then we like to zoom in on people. Say if you're giving a speech, then we just have that panel up here. You could see the person giving the speech. We like at table topics to have the pane, kind of the gridiron look there, just so that you can see people's faces that are online as well, instead of just taking the table topics person and just showing them. So just you can see, but we're in person, so it's a little bit different. We get to see that. So just the Zoom master's job is to record the meeting if you're here. And that's what I'll be doing today. It's already in process. So with that, I'll send it back over to Chanel or Denny. So I just send it to Denny. And then Denny, go ahead and take it away, and then you can introduce me again.
Thank you, evaluation team. And now we're going to present table topics. Joey, you're going to be in charge of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Denny. So with table topics, again, if we had a speech today, that's what we would do. And generally with speeches, your first speech is, we call it an icebreaker. An icebreaker is a 4 to 6 minute speech. Typical speeches are 5 to 7 minutes. 4 to 6 minute speech, it's really about yourself, and it's how we get to know our newer members when they're coming in is an icebreaker. Then every speech after that, you go into a program that's called Pathways. So you would log into Pathways, you would pick a path. There's maybe 8 to 10 different paths. It could be visual, it could be presentations, it could be storytelling, it could be like a joke type, learning how to do joke type speeches. there's different ways, and you can pick for yourself, or you can go through like a little quiz or survey and it'll pick it for you what path that it thinks that you should maybe try first. And within that pathway, there are levels. So the first level, I think, is 3 or 4 speeches. There's an icebreaker, and then there's 3 speeches that you basically can take that first speech and revise it 3 times. So you can do the same speech multiple times, revised as you go. So you don't necessarily have to do a different speech. And then you'll have a second level, which will have maybe another 3 to 4 speeches. And then it'll kind of do that up until about the, I think, what, 5 levels of speeches in each path. Yeah, each path. And it takes you through different, it'll give you prompts. It'll tell you what you want to speak on. It'll tell you what to work on. It could be on body language. It could be on using a visual presentation, like using a PowerPoint or whatnot. And that's kind of how the speeches go. So if we had a speech today, whoever was giving the speech would be speaking out of that pathway and whatever speech that they were on in that pathway. So we're going to go then the next. So we'd have 1 speech or 2 speeches, and then we go into table topics. Table topics is a way for extemporaneous speaking. It is, we'll do this 2 ways today since we have some guests. We'll do it one way where you'll know what the question is before you come up. If you want to challenge yourself, there's a way where you don't know the question, you get called up and we ask you a question. And that's a little harder, it's a little tougher, so I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want to do that, they're not crazy questions, although I do say that, and then a number gets picked. So I have 365 different questions, and then you just pick a number, and then I just find that number and ask a question. And just kind of an example, I always say this isn't like meaning of life stuff, but then there's like a meaning of life question that gets asked. So I don't want to say it's not a meaning of life thing, but it's what is your greatest strength and your greatest weakness? That's an example of a question. How many friends do you have in real life that you talk to regularly? And you can talk about, maybe you highlight one of those friends or 2 of those friends. But the goal is to speak within a 1 to 2 minute arena. And that's, Chanel will be using the dots. The green one will be when you hit 1 minute. The yellow, red, it's supposed to be just yellow, but we got a little fuse thing going on in there. The yellow, red will be at 1.5 minutes, and then red will be at 2 minutes. And then you usually have about 30 seconds past the 2 minutes to wrap it up, because we do have competitions once a year on table topics, and you still qualify if you get within 2.5 minutes. But generally speaking, you want to be 1 to 2. So one part will be, if you want to challenge yourself and just give me a number, I'll read the question for the number, and you come up and talk on that for 1 minute to 2 minutes, try your best. Or we'd like to go to the theme of the day, which is International Mentoring Day, which Denny so eloquently gave us a little speech on mentoring. So the questions there, I would say, is talk about like what Denny did. Perfect example. Talk about a mentor of yours. It could be past or present, or maybe somebody that you're looking to in the future to be your mentor, maybe what you're looking for that mentor to do for you. But if you're talking past or present, what's that mentor? How's that mentor helped you, and things like that. Just basically what Denny talked about today. And then on the other side of that, maybe a mentor that you thought was going to help, but maybe didn't. And maybe some examples, you don't have to name names or anything, but how it didn't help you and didn't maybe take you in that direction. So those would be the questions that you would already have, and you can talk on either one of those. Or if you want to challenge yourself, then we can go with one of these questions. So I'll give you an example. I'll go first, and I'm going to pick, let's say 177. And then what we'll do is we'll ask for volunteers, or what we say is we volunteer people. We won't do that to our guests, but Chanel and Denny are definitely on the board for that one. So 177, how would the world be different if you were never born? Interesting. It's a wonderful life. There you go, right there. What would life be like if I was never born? I think about that sometimes in relation to my wife. And I wonder who she would have picked besides me, because before me, she had picked one guy who I played baseball with. Now I play college baseball, I played through college, and I played with some really good players that were good character. I had played with good players that were not so good character. Good guy, just had a hard time, got busted for selling weed his senior year. I was a junior in high school and got kicked off the team. This guy probably would have been a big leaguer. I don't say that normally. I know the difference between big leaguers versus amateurs, and he definitely had the skills. And I like this guy, I looked up to this guy, but only on the baseball field, wasn't outside curricular. But she dated him, and that's how I met her, even though she denies ever meeting me. She's a year older than me, so that she didn't pay attention to any of the underlings in her class. But that's where I met her and all that. I knew some of the drama that he was going through. I knew she was great. She was a great person, and I remember seeing her around. And then after him, that was just a mess. That didn't work out very well. And then she dated another guy who ended up cheating on her. And when I kind of got introduced with her, we met at Casa Corona one night, and she was a month or 2 months broken up with this other guy. And this guy was cheating on her, just a real number one person in a satirical way. And she picked him, and she picked the other guy, and then me. So then I think about, well, what would life be like for her if I wasn't in the thing? And looking at her pattern, I'm not sure who she would have picked. So I'm glad that I was born and that we did come together. And I tell her every day, I don't let her forget it, that I was the one that came up and talked to her, broke the icebreaker. And you want to know, and I'll end on this, you want to know what my icebreaker was? So she had a twin, and I walked up to her and I said, were you the twin that dated the first guy, the baseball guy? And why, yes, I was. And that was the icebreaker. And I was able to go in on that. And so we got to laugh about him and stories about him and all that kind of thing. So I'll end on that for my table topic. So that's an example of a table topics there.
So were you supposed to use it a week?
I was, but I haven't yet. Actually, I'm off limits because I'm the grammarian, but I'll work it in. I did, yeah. Michael, look at this guy. He's right on it. We should have made him grammarian today if I knew Michael was coming. All right. Any volunteers? Chanel, want to come on up? All right, I got you.
I will take number 242.
242. You're gonna make me go through
222.
222.
Plus 42.
All right, 222. You ready for this?
Yes.
When you look back over the past month, what single moment stands out? And I'll read it one more time. When you look back over the past month, what single moment stands out?
I have something exciting going on in my life right now, which are the regular members of our club have heard about from time to time, and that I am in my first relationship ever. At the age of 26, I have my first boyfriend, and it's been going really well. I'm really excited about it. I am also very close to my family, my nuclear family. I have 2 parents and 2 sisters, and we usually spend Christmas holiday just the 5 of us. We don't have a lot of other extended family in town, so we usually just stay at home, open presents. My parents cook a big breakfast. And I was in the situation this year for the first time ever that I'm in a relationship with somebody that I care about. And I was wondering, of course, how is he, my boyfriend, going to fit into what my family does for Christmas, especially since it is usually such an intimate space. And I thought a lot about it and ended up approaching my family and asking them how they would feel if I invited my boyfriend over on Christmas Day to join us. And they graciously, even though, of course, it changes the dynamic anytime that a new person comes into a family situation, they said that we could do that, and they were willing to make space in their hearts for that. And so I had, for the first time, celebrated Christmas with my family, and then also my boyfriend was able to be a part of that and join us. And I think for me, it was a special time to, firstly, to be able to appreciate that my family was willing to let him into that space, and appreciate that my boyfriend is somebody who is respectable and worthy of being let in, and very kind to my family and treats them well. So it was a special Christmas day for me in that aspect, that it was the first time that I had experienced that. And that's something that, looking back over the past month, stands out to me. Thank you.
So you didn't get hoodwinked either.
So I should have made him. I should have made Michael grammarian today.
I was listening, that's all.
No, you're right.
Just,
I was listening to the story.
I was a
The
right.
it's a good story.
Mhm.
I usually forget. Joey doesn't usually forget.
I don't usually forget,
I forget.
and my time up here isn't over, so. All right, any volunteers? Again, you don't have to talk today at all, okay? But sounds like Michael's starting to, no, I'm not volunteering you right now, but he's fired up. And Denny can go too, of course.
Where does this recording go?
YouTube.
Does it?
Mhm. I think we can pause it too, if you want.
Via,
Want me to pause it?
social media.
Yeah, I'll pause it. You want me to?
I don't know. You can.
That is an option. That is a good question. Didn't even think about that. So if you want me to pause it, I'll pause it.
That's come up before.
Has it come up before?
Yeah, I think with a couple people on, if they were talking about something sensitive.
Oh, right. Oh, Denny, you ready?
Mhm.
All right. What do you want? You want to talk on, well, you already talked on mentoring, so do you want to pick a number? Or do you want to talk about mentoring again? You can.
Yeah, let's just do 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. All right. I was like, which one? Which number? 1, 2, 3. All right. You ready, Denny?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. If you could live the next 24 hours and then erase it and start over just once, what would you do? Again, if you could live the next 24 hours and then erase it and start over just once, what would you do?
That's a moral and ethical question.
Denny's got this.
So Joey, the first thing I would do is delete the part of this video that you just gave for the sake of your marriage.
She knows it all.
Well, I think I would go on a long vacation with my husband to Europe in one day. That would be the funnest thing I could do right now. Right now, I have lots of responsibilities at home, and that's why I'm coming to you from Zoom. But one of these days, my husband and I will get on a plane and go somewhere again, which will be really nice.
Where are you guys going to go?
I don't know. We've talked about it, and we've really traveled to most places that we wanted to go, which is nice. I really want to go to Mexico. I haven't been for quite a long time. That's my fun place because I have family there. So it would be Mexico at Christmas time for it would be a month, really. It wouldn't be 24 hours, but that would be my fun.
Very cool. Thanks, Denny. And did you see Denny talking about the did you see how she paused for a while? Did some of you feel a little uncomfortable? Did she look uncomfortable? So that's part of the whole thing, because we have tendency to want to fill it with space with words. So fill that space with words. And Denny, that was a good example where she just paused. You can see her thinking, but she didn't look like she was uncomfortable or anything. Like some of us can get fidgety in the beginning. I remember I was very much like that. I had to keep talking. I'm a talker, and I just keep talking. So I had to learn how to sit. So thanks for sharing, Denny. All right, anyone else? Again, pause button's right on, if that's on the table, that's an option. You want to do it? All right, Monica, you want to come on up? Now, did you want me to pause? Yeah, let's do it. No, yes? No pause? Okay. All right. So first, do you want the question or do you want the mentoring one?
The question.
Question. Okay, so pick a number between 1 and 365.
18.
18. All right. So 18 is it possible to lie without saying a word? One more time. Is it possible to lie without saying a word? And maybe give an example. Or we can roll the dice again and try another one.
Yeah,
Try another one? Or give me another number.
That's the challenge.
Some of these are really easy. Some of these, yeah.
You know what? I'll take it.
You want to take it?
I'll take
All right, let's do it.
So I will start that I'm a loan officer, and I just went back to work I've been out for the past 14 months. I had an illness, a very severe illness, and I had to go and take a step back and get healthy. And I just came back to work, and this morning, one of my one of my customers asked me if I had completed a task for him. And I could have lied and said, yes, I did, but I did not. And the reason why, I could have said, yes, I got it. I'll send it to you by the end of the day. But I stood quiet. It took me a minute. And I told him, you know what? I did not. I completely forgot about it on Friday because I was excited to, do what I needed to go ahead and do for my health that I completely forgot. So I took a minute and I said, no, it's important to go ahead and say the truth. It's important, even if it took a second to say, yes, I did, and I can go ahead and call and do whatever I needed to do to complete that report. I took a second and I said, no, I did not. I did not complete it. And this is the truth. This is the reason why I did not complete it, but I will have it for you by the end of the day. How does that sound? And the customer said, yeah, that will work. And so I think it's important to go ahead and take a minute and not lie versus, lying, because it just, as little as it may seem, okay, it's still you're lying, and it's not honest. It's not ethical. It doesn't make you a better person. So.
Very cool. Thank you, Monica. And Monica, shake hands. Part of the. There you go. When you pass the podium. Oh, you coming? All right. All right. Broke the dam. Annette, come on up. Pause or no pause?
No pause.
No pause. All right. All right. So what did you want to go, the mentoring question, or do you want to try your hand at roulette?
I'll do the mentoring.
Mentoring question. You got it. So so it was basically like what Denny did earlier, a mentor, pick a mentor in your past, present, and talk about how they helped you and just anything around that side of it. Or if maybe you're working with somebody or you're going to work with somebody, how, what your expectations are.
Okay. When I was in college, I had just graduated high school and started exploring ideas and plans for my future. I wanted to choose a major and I was interested in business. So I joined clubs on campus. And one of my first clubs that I joined was the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. I was very passionate about it and did it for about 2 years, my 2 years at community college. I also took classes with a professor who I had high regard for. He seemed like someone who could really teach me what business was all about, and I had a lot of respect for him. 2 years into being in the club, the leaders of the club, or the professors who were the advisors for the club, had to step back. And this gentleman whom I took a course with filled this position to be the leader. And I started noticing that he was not who I thought he was. He was not the mentor who I thought was going to teach me someone. Rather, he became someone who hoodwinked the students into believing that he knew more than what he did about the field. And that is an example of a mentor that I thought would be good, but ended up not.
Great, Annette. I knew that was coming. I was waiting. She had it teed up. Perfect. If she wasn't going to say it, I was going to say something. Boy, that was a mentor that was going to hoodwink you there. But you did it. You came up big. Yeah. Yeah. And that is not fun.
I was very disappointed.
And that is
Yeah,
not
it
fun.
was just kind of
Gotcha. Yeah, that is. I think we might have had that in the years that I've been here. Word of the day. Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing that. No, you don't have to, Michael.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now he does. Okay, again, you got the option. You got the option. Off. Okay, all right, got
Did use it.
Had to. He was on the
I
hook
had
for
to. I saw
yeah.
the
He was
yellow
pointing
lights
out.
go on, and I was like, hoodwink, I gotta get it in there.
And I have a little 6-year-old girl. So I have a 10-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl. So I'm already seeing the chest going from one-dimensional chest, starting to feel a little two-dimensional. I see you're thinking a couple spaces ahead, and I'm really trying to prepare for that because I know those.
I have a little more experience. I have a 25-year-old, and you do have to do it. You do have to go very quickly to do it. And as I have to say, as an experienced parent, yeah, I always used to tell them I'm only going to tell you once. If I have to tell you a second, okay, I'm going to take until we say you care. And that worked.
The carrot and the stick.
Yeah.
The carrot and the stick.
Yeah.
Yep, love it. All right, and then Chanel, I'm going to bring up, I think that's good for table topics, and Chanel's our general evaluator. I'll bring her up. She's wearing the dad watch, quote unquote. That's a cool watch.
The
Now.
dad watch thing was comfortable.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Yep. Can take it back.
All right, so when we do evaluation of the meeting, we usually call the evaluators up in reverse order so that the grammarian will go last, just to give other people time to use the word hoodwinked. My notorious habit is sneaking it in at the end, but that's kind of cheating. I don't think I'm even going to attempt today. I'll just bite the bullet. I will give our timer report first. So everybody did pretty good. Joey's notorious for speaking longer than the allotted time. So Joey, you were at 2 minutes and 15 seconds today. Denny was at well, you're 15 seconds over, but pretty close. Yeah, technically. So the Toastmasters has speech competitions annually, and the rules in the speech competitions is you get a 30-second allotment on either side. You can be 30 seconds under or 30 seconds over without being disqualified. But if you go past that, you'll be disqualified from the competition. So we can kind of use that as a marker. Denny was at 1 minute and 15 seconds, but that was with the assistance of Joey's question to prod her on. I was at 2 minutes exactly is what you put down here. Mike, you were also at 2 minutes. I think you saw that yellow light and then turn into the red and you wrapped it up. And Annette and Monica, you were both perfect. Annette, you were at 1 minute 35, and Monica, you were at 1 minute 50. Good job. And in regards to off counter, I think everybody did really well. Joey, I caught only one from you. I didn't catch any from Denny. I know that I had a in there, possibly something else. And you guys all did really well. There was a few, each of you had a few kind of intermingled into your table topic, but it was really good. It was nothing super noticeable or that really threw us off track, I think, from following what you were saying.
Which is good for you all to chose a question that you didn't know beforehand. It's good. Usually there's a lot of ums and likes and that come out of that because you don't know what you're going to say before you're going to say it.
Yeah, so excellent. And I'll have Joey come back up and give us our grammarian report. Because we already know how we did.
Right. All right, we covered our grammarian, our counter, timer, and we got Zoom. So then what I'll do, and you just kind of covered the whole base there, just the evaluation overall of the meeting. I think we did good. We started a little bit late today, but we didn't have any speeches, so we usually have a little bit of time that we can sit in that a little bit and use a little bit more time on table topics and things like that. So what I want to do now is, so we do our questions, rewards. I think everybody gets rewards today for the normal crew, Denny, Chanel, and I doing, Denny, do you have something to say?
Yeah, Joey, who used the word of the day?
Oh, good question. Yep, there you go. Word of the day. So we had all our guests used it. Yep. Well, you didn't do it up here, but I gave it to you. You used it over there when you were at the end of table topic. So I gave that to you. All our guests did today. I used it, but kind of in a goofy way, but I'm off limits anyway. Or whoever the grammarian doesn't have to use it. And then Chanel just talked about how she didn't want to cheat. She didn't want to hoodwink anybody and use it at the end there when, although that is given to you, you can use it there. That's still good. Thanks for reminding me, Denny. All right, rewards. We'd like to give some just kind of clap rewards at the end. Our normal crew for wearing many hats. Way to go. And then our guests for participating today and not only going to another place, but finding us. I don't know how you found us from the AD. Well,
You dive deeper into the website.
then you see it.
It changed, yeah.
And is that what you ladies did too? Or you saw Michael?
No, she got there a lot earlier, and so she called me, she said, it's not here, and we tried calling different
I
places.
signed up for Toastmasters a while back
Mm.
when it was at Bitwise, I think.
Oh, so that was pre-2020.
The emails
From Bitwise or from us?
from you.
Oh, from us. Oh, you might be
Probably
Annette.
Sarah.
Oh, just is she not on? I'm gonna have to check her.
Fresh, yes?
Are you getting the agenda?
I think so.
Annette, are you getting the agenda? Okay, so she might be just on the list we just copy and paste and
It's,
wow, you've been getting them for almost 3 years?
Fresno City Toastmasters.
Yeah. She's been
At
getting them.
Gmail.
Wow.
So I looked up my emails and I said, oh, there it is.
Well,
Okay, let's try that, please.
we'll fix that. We'll have that fixed so that we're not showing up over there at AD. There's Michael over there. He's pretty good. He was Toastmaster before, and then he started, I think he started online when we were online over the pandemic and things like that. But yeah, we'll get that fixed. But this is where we're at. This should be where we're at for a while. I think it's a good little space. We just came here probably 3 months, 2 months, 3 months now. We just were over here versus over at AD, and it was just hard over there because of when the weather gets either really cold or really hot, it's miserable, especially in the heat. So we wanted to find a place that had some sort of air conditioning, heating, things like that. Better parking. Not going to get a nail in your tire or something like that over there in Industrial Park. So thank you for really going above and beyond to get here. I mean, you jumped through some hoops, so we appreciate that. So for participating and jumping through those hoops, thank you. And then what we'll do next is, we're almost done here. We should end on time. Is if you flip well, you guys have the second piece. If you got the second piece, it's on the second page. If you got the one pager, it's on the back. So it's our agenda for next week. So we have National Compliment Day is the meeting theme. And now you don't have to jump in on any of these. But between us three here, and then Corinne, I think, Sarah. Oh no, Sarah's not going to be here next week, huh? So Denny, did you want to jump in on any of these roles?
Sure. Yeah. Put me in wherever.
All right, let's go. She was Toastmaster today. So maybe we'll do, you want to go general evaluator?
Sure.
Chanel?
Table topics, Joey.
Table topics. Okay, and then I can do Toastmaster. Maybe we'll put Corinne back into his spots. So grammarian, counter, timer. So no, Sarah, I could do that. I think that's it. Anybody want to, Denny or Chanel, looking to give a speech, or I got to get Corinne back in there,
Yeah.
or an impromptu or something. Yeah.
The issue that I've been stuck on is in my half, the next speech is supposed to be between like 18. and
Oh, it's a long one.
And that's fine.
Well, we could just shave off table topics a little bit. Do that. if you
No,
want.
I mean on mine.
Oh, on your end to be able to prepare and things like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't want to cut corners.
Yeah. Okay. Denny? No? I got to work on Corinne. He probably won't get one next week, but so if anything, we won't have any speeches. We'll do our table topics again. All right, we good with that? Or if you want to get put on for the 7th, February 7th, for speeches, for the speech. All right. Okay. All right. Last piece of business. We would just like to ask our guests questions, comments, criticisms.
I got a question.
Yeah.
As far as speeches go, now, what if there's a presentation that I need to give, or a speech that I need to give to either employees or down the chain or up the chain? I mean, would there be time to do something like that to practice the speech, get some feedback? Is
Yep.
that available?
Exactly. Yep. So we can make that work. I think that first allotted time of, our battery's running low. I think we got enough time though on it. Anyway, cuts out, it cuts out. So sorry, Danny, if it cuts out. Just have a good week, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, so the first 3 speech or 4 speeches in that first level, it's pretty easy to do that. And we can do that in the other ones too. We can fit that in, but we've had people do that. Whether we've had insurance, we've had wedding. Were you there for a wedding toast? It was an actual toast that they were going to give at a wedding that somebody did.
Yeah, one of our members, she's not here today, Sarah, she's the executive.
Oh, yeah.
director of Van Home, which is a nonprofit, and so she'll usually practice every year at their
Donor
fundraising
speech,
banquet. She has to
fundraising,
give, like,
mhm.
the keynote speech,
Mhm.
so usually
She'll do that.
practice
Mhm. So we can do that. Yep. So whatever it is that you need to work on, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Here to
our-
give you-
Our goal is definitely to make it as customizable as possible to meet whatever your specific needs are, rather than, oh, you have to always fit into this box.
Mhm.
Pathways does. It's a good guide, but I'm just trying to stay very flexible.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mhm. It's not super rigid.
Right.
Yeah. Good question. Yep. Ladies, any questions or anything? And Annette, you guys work at the same company, mortgage company?
No, we work in the same industry. I do lending, she does real estate.
Oh, cool. A duo.
Team.
Yep.
I did have a question about the membership
Mhm.
and what that looks like.
So the membership is biannual, so you pay biannually every 6 months, and the first one's a little bit more expensive. It's normally for renewing, it's $60 for renewing members, not that bad. So I think for a brand new, depending on when you sign up, because it's prorated, if you sign up 2 months into the current fiscal thing year, it could be 65. I don't think it's ever more than 70, but it's for usual sign up stuff and whatnot. But usually renewing is $60. That's 2 times a year. And the next one I think is April 30th is the next sign up. So we're a couple months into the next one is September 30th. So that's how our year goes. What else? Easy sign up. We'd send you an application and you get an email. So you can just reply, or you could either reply all or reply to me, because I'm the one that's sending them. I'm the main, well, actually it'll go to Sarah, I guess, Fresno Toastmasters. And she can always she'll alert me, and then I can send you an application to fill out. If you got any questions on that, I can let you know on that. You can pay by credit card. On that one's pretty easy. And renewing, it's whether it's credit card or I think we have a PayPal link that we do. I mean, we try and make it as easy as possible on that side of it. What else? Any other questions on that?
Pathways is on
Mhm.
the website.
So that's it. So that's part of Toastmasters.org. So that's where probably both of you tried to find us originally, find a club and that kind of thing. It's on there. So once you sign up, I give you step-by-step instructions on how to go into that. So where to go, links, what's the next step. I went through the whole process myself and just tracked all the step-by-step. So that should be pretty easy to get in there and choose your path. And once you got your path, then you're ready to go. The question is sometimes there's a little bug in their system. They spend a lot of money on a website that I feel probably could have been done better and more user-friendly. It's not really user-friendly, but again, we're here to help on that. And we do give, if you needed a mentor, we just talked about mentors today. Denny's out, so I'm gonna just end this, so in case the computer goes. She got